Jason Anderson, Pro Soccer Wire USA today. Adrián, thank you for speaking with us today. I guess I would start with just the basics of these last few days and weeks since you arrived in the U.S. and got onto the training ground with the team. What has that experience been like for you?
Yeah. Hi, Jason. Well, first of all, thank you guys for your time. It's a pleasure to meet you. So, yeah, the first impression has been really good, to be honest, because I've just seen like all the players want to improve, the desire to be better every day, and also the coaching staff. So we have really good professionals here, and we all are excited to start this new season. And it's been like two great 2 weeks of working hard, to be honest, but with a lot of learning, and I think we are on a good way to build what we want to achieve as a team. So really, really good impression.
I'm curious from your perspective. This is obviously kind of a unusual and kind of a tricky situation to step in. I read, or at least I read a translated version of your farewell remarks at Espanyol, saying that it was a difficult choice. And then obviously you're coming in to be the interim head coach for a spell and then becoming an assistant. What made you take that leap? What had to be in place to convince you to take this chance?
Mhm. That's a good question. It was hard, to be honest, because we were in the middle of the season and were performing very good, to be honest. But I think Michelle's vision and this project for me is huge. So I thought that it was a really good opportunity for me, to be honest, as a coach. So being part of Washington Spirit now is a really great opportunity. And because we are just starting something new, so we are building, I think, a really good project. There are a lot of people involved, and also the vision that the club has for me, was really good. So also start working with Jonah, being part of this project for me was the key to decide to come and join the Spirits.
Appreciate it. I'll pass the microphone here.
Go ahead, Ella.
Hi, Ella Brockway from the Washington Post. How would you describe the sort of style of play and type of soccer that you and this coaching staff are trying to implement in this preseason so far?
Okay, well, I cannot give you too much information yet, but just the basics. We believe that players are the most important thing. So the protagonist, we are trying to help them to develop personally and also professionally. So we want them to be part, of course, of the process. We know that this is going to be a process, so it's going to take time. But of course, everything is going to be related with the ball. So we are going to be organized through the ball. And yeah, also for us, the way that we understand the game is related with, especially with time and space. So we are trying to help players to recognize what is happening in each game situation and to give them tools to solve those situations. So with different verbal and non-verbal communication. And in terms of the playing style, you will see during the season. We are now just starting, but I think we're gonna enjoy.
And then one quick follow-up: what past connection, if any, in Spain did you have with Jonah before you came to the Spirit, and what have you been able to communicate with him since you've arrived in the States for preseason?
Yeah, we know each other since many years. So we worked together before, and we had a really good relationship. So we have friends in common too. So yeah, we've been connected every day. We talk. I know, well, the situation it's complicated because he's now actually with Barcelona, so full commitment there. So it's a bit difficult, but he wants to be involved, and also we talk almost every day. So we are building also what we want together, and yeah, the relationship is really good. So always been good.
Andre, go ahead.
Hey, nice to speak with you, Adrian. I'm Andre Carlisle from the District Press. I kind of wanted to expound a little bit about what you said about, this kind of being a long-term interim role. Normally we see interim coaches step in for a little bit, but she'll be here for a few months, particularly at the start of the season. So what are some of the challenges that you foresee in being able to still have an effect within that time? And then also the transition of no longer being interim to when Jonah actually gets here.
Yeah, I think it's a challenge, yeah, but I think I know now, for example, like the club just asked me to come here and to lead the team until Jonah comes. So this is what I'm trying to do. We are building a team now, to be honest. I always said that we started being a group of players and group of persons here. So new players, maybe new coaching staff. So now we are building those relationships. And this is for me the key. Now we want to be all of us on the same page. And after that, I think it's going to be easy because we have a really good communication with Jonah, and also the players understand the situation. So the transition is going to be easy. My job now is to try to build the basics to lead the team these 4 months. And of course, what we are doing is going to be connected with what Jonah wants for sure, because the playing style, the idea is the same. So my job now is to try to make it easier once he arrives, so the transition could be easy to all of us.
Appreciate that. And I also had a follow-up. Just looking at the NWSL in particular, how familiar were you with the league and the style of play? And if you weren't familiar, what kind of work did you do in order to prepare for how the style might need to be tweaked for this league?
Yeah, I knew the league before for sure, and players. And before I came, so I tried to watch as many games as possible from our team, so from the opponents for sure. And now with all the coaching staff, they have experience, so they know the league properly. So we are just preparing about what is coming, I know that it's really physical league, so with a lot of transitions. Some of the teams, I know that maybe they play with long distances, so sometimes the games are a little bit broken, with long balls. We need to be aware of that, so we are preparing that. But for us, for me, the most important thing is we need to think about us, what we want to be as a team, how we want to play, and try to adapt that, of course, according to the league. But the main focus is on us right now.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Jeff, go ahead.
Thanks, Adrian. Jeff Kassouf again, Equalizer and ESPN. A couple of follow-ups actually to topics that Andre had there, but maybe on that style piece, I'm wondering, we've seen a bit of an influx of Spanish playing style into the league. Juan Carlos Amorós sort of successfully with Gotham last year. A few more teams now bringing in coaches from Spain. I'm wondering what you think maybe is sort of that trend. Obviously Spain winning the World Cup, I guess, helps with maybe people looking that way, but what about that trend do you think could be successful in this league, following up on kind of that style question of how it fit? I know you can speak to your own team obviously, but it seems to be a league-wide trend as well.
Yeah, I think it is positive, for every league in the world, that we can have, for example, coaches from different countries, different playing style, also international players. So for me, that's going to help the league to have different situations and different also approaches. So I think now the league is maybe changing a little bit, and I think that it's going to be positive because we can have a better league, or even more competitive. And also it's going to be good for players and coaches because it's going to be a challenge. So yeah, of course, the Spanish maybe style, we can say that. So now, of course, also with FC Barcelona, I think the impact is really, really, really good. But there are a lot of teams, that are playing very good. So I think we need to be open. as a coaches and also as a players and leagues to try to improve the league, because I think that's gonna be important for the players. So as much level we have and different approaches, better for the players. For me, players are the most important thing. So I think that's really positive.
And related to that interim period that you're staring down here, I think Mark Krikorian spoke a few weeks ago, maybe at this point, about the process. It'll take some time. There's obviously an extended transition here. Do you, as you kind of map out the year and look at what that might look like, or maybe even beyond the year, and you're doing that in conjunction with Jonah, I guess, do you have an idea of what you feel like would be, okay, we should be clicking full speed at this point of the season? Obviously he has to get here. There's adjustment. Like, have you kind of mapped out where you feel like, okay, the Spirit, if it goes to plan, will be playing their best by, whatever game, whatever month?
I would like to know it, but I don't know, to be honest. I just, Jeff, I just know that it's going to be a process. So we know that every process needs time. So it's going to be, I think, depending on players. So we are here to try to help them. So it's a learning process. Every player, it's completely different. I know that now they are absorbing. They want to learn. They want to improve. So for me, I know that it's going to be easier because the desire that they have, they want to learn. So it's going to help us to build that from the beginning. But I cannot answer that. I don't know when is it going to be like, okay, now we got it. But for me, as I understand this, so we are always going to be improving, so every day, every year. So it's going to be different. But yeah, we need some time for sure.
Thank you.
Peyton?
Hi, thank you. Peyton Skeels, She Plays Inc. Kind of similar question, but how would you assess where the team is now over the past 2 weeks, what you've seen, compared to where you would like them to be for match day 1 of this season?
Well, what can I tell you? I just see that in 2 weeks, the progression has been really, really good. At the beginning, of course, we try to know each other, especially players, new players coming from college. They were coming from a different background. So also we started building those relationships between players, also with the coaching staff. And after 2 weeks, I can say that now we know what we want. We've been practicing, and my point is like they're doing really, really good. And we are getting closer. For me, this next weeks or the preseason is just to prepare the first game and try to be as better as possible. I think we are getting closer. The team is improving every day. And tomorrow we have the first game against a league team. So it's going to be a good practice to see how we are and what we need to improve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael? You're muted, Michael.
Sorry, Michael, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now? Sorry,
Yeah.
Coach.
It's all right.
I'm impressed with your English. You speak very well, if I
Thank
may
you for
say
that.
so. Where did you learn to speak English so well, Coach?
Thank you. I was a little bit worried because I was like, okay, maybe I don't understand the answer, but yeah, I lived in London for 1 year. And then I lived in Japan another year. So I practiced my English there. So this is why. And now I'm learning a lot with these people here.
Very good. Have you visited, you and your family, Washington, D.C., the nation's capital? Have you been to it yet?
I just went the other day just to have dinner, quick dinner. I'm ready for an extra day off, and maybe we can visit the city.
Very good. Well, welcome, Coach.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right, we'll go Jason, Jeff, and Andre, and that'll wrap us up. So Jason, start us off.
Adriana, kind of along those lines, like you said, you've only had really 2 weeks with the team. You've just barely gotten to the area at all, and I know the team is headed to Florida. How have you been able to settle in terms of away from the pitch? Have you been able to sort of find your bearings yet, or is that something that might take a little while this busy period is going on?
Yeah, well, I think we are getting closer, as I said before. We've been trying to give them at least the big picture of what we want to build as a team in terms of in possession and out of possession. So we want to be a team also that knows how to play in different situations with different heights, pressing high, pressing maybe, a little bit lower in a mid block. So also how we want to attack the main shape. So we've been trying to do that, and yeah, I think the impression I have is really positive. So the team is learning fast, and I think we are getting closer to that first game. So this is my aim now. So I'm happy for that.
And just the last one for me, this team has been through many changes in the last few years. Well before you arrived, it was already a team we talked about as constantly going under big changes, coaches, ownership, etc. How have you found them in terms of not just being receptive to what you've been teaching so far, but also their ability to actually take that on quickly? Is it maybe enhanced from their experience having to change from very different systems so often in these last few years?
Yeah, they are so excited. The feeling is that they want to improve. There's a huge ambition to be better. They are so open-minded. They want to learn, and that's very positive. As a coach, for me, that's like a gift, because all the players are ready to learn, to take it and try for sure. Yeah, I think that the desire to be better and try to have that project, be consistent. And now I understand what you said in terms of maybe many changes the last seasons. Now we are building something, so we know that it's going to take time, but we are building a project. So a project that we are going to be here at least 3 years. So we know that we are building something for the future too. So the players are excited, huge motivation also with the coaching staff, and the feeling is really good.
Thanks so much.
Thank you too.
All right, Andre, wrap us up.
All right, I just have a couple more. The first one is really just you mentioned the first preseason game is happening tomorrow. When the Spirit shared their schedule with us, I think there was only one more. Is that still true? There's only 2 preseason games?
Yeah.
Okay. So given that, it seems like it's when you're trying to change the style as much as what the Spirit players went under last year. And of course, there's been a lot coming in from college, but how much analysis will you kind of pack into those 2 preseason matches in order to prepare for the opener?
Well, as I said, for us now, the key is to think about us. So of course the opponents are important, but we are just going to focus on what we have trained these last two weeks. So this first game is going to be a really good practice to put that in practice in terms of what we want to do with ball and without ball. And from there, we can just build what we want to achieve for the first game. So these 2 games are going to be, for me, just a good example about how we are going to perform, in which point we are. And yeah, as I said, for me, preseason is just about getting ready for the first game. So we are going to analyze for sure the teams, the opponents, but for me now, the most important thing is, okay, how we want to be that first game, which team we want to be that first game. And we have still 2 weeks to prepare us for that. Sorry.
Appreciate it. And I'll kind of end with maybe a fun one, or maybe a little difficult because
Okay.
you have been here
ready.
for 2 weeks. But given the focus on time and space, are there any players who maybe pick things up a little quicker than you maybe expected? Or are there any players that have kind of surprised you in terms of how familiar they may have seemed already with the elements that you're implementing?
All of them, to be honest. I mean, the feeling is even like young players, they are just picking the things very quickly. So that's really positive. And as I said, the desire to be better, to listen, to learn. So that's really positive. As a player, you can make mistakes for sure. Mistakes are allowed, but if you want to improve, you are open to learn. So that's for me the key. They are really professionals. The commitment is really, really good also. So they are trying and they are learning so fast. So I'm so happy.